Hi there, it's me, Sonny. Fred's over here, the producer, the guy with the big long hair. Um, want to talk about judgment and shame. There's some things lately have been coming up um, about that. So when I need to work something out, I talk to you about it. And Stuart, yes, I did comb my hair. Okay. My son always says he'll comb my hair. It's the best it gets, baby. Um, Shame is an emotion that is extremely uncomfortable for most all of us. So we try to avoid it. Shame is when we have broken a rule of some sort. Our rule, somebody else's rule, a rule. And somebody else has seen it, not just us. If nobody else knows about it, it's guilt. But, and when we've broken this rule, uh, as we all know, we learn from children, you break rules, you need to be punished. And shame becomes the punishment, the self-punishment that we do to ourselves in order to make up for breaking whatever that rule is or being inadequate. Because often that's the rule that we've broken is we're inadequate. We're not enough. And in this day and age, what the television set and the computer and all of the advertising that goes on and the comparisons, it's pretty damn hard to be good enough because you can't meet everybody's expectations. But somehow we all think we're supposed to do that. Well, a lot of us do. I'm sure there's some secure people out there um, that don't go through that, but I just happen to not many of them in my life. So the shame is the punishment that we do to ourselves in order to make up for that rule of not being whatever we haven't done, we've broken. But in order to feel that shame, you have to have made a judgment. So they go hand in hand. Um, and if we judge somebody else, we judge ourselves too. So that's kind of gets it into a big bind with that. And this friend of mine said something to me that made me feel inadequate. And I felt ashamed because I wasn't able to meet these expectations. But actually, the comment that was made to that person, it wasn't, it really wasn't a judgment. It was my perception. It was my wound that was triggered. Um, and it really, really hit a wound. And I felt inadequate and I felt ashamed because I couldn't do anything differently. So I went into attack mode and I attacked back. And then I was even more ashamed of myself for hurting somebody else because no matter what somebody does to me, and life is always about me or you, it's always about your life is about you. And I don't mean in the egotistical sense, that isn't what I mean at all. I mean that we're here to raise our level of consciousness, okay, consciousness, spirituality. And so everything comes down to really about how we are, how we respond, what our rules are, our values, our judgments. So I judge somebody and their perception was not the same as mine. And I attacked them and I hurt them, and that was wrong. You don't attack. You just don't attack. It doesn't get you anywhere in a relationship to attack somebody else. Then you feel bad. Then you realize you didn't get what you wanted anyway. Didn't get you what you wanted. And it's not that it's good behavior or bad behavior. You're just not getting the outcome you want. I didn't get the outcome I wanted. And I made somebody feel bad. Somebody I cared about. That made me feel even more ashamed. Well, you can sit there and you can punish yourself. and the shame punishes yourself, okay, and you do that, it's like going to church and getting some Hail Marys to say, it doesn't change anything, but a little bit of shame is okay. Think about it this way. It grabs your attention. That couple of minutes of shame when you realize that you've broken a rule, if you use it correctly, incorrectly, but if you use it in a positive sense, you're going to think about what you did, like I did, and realize where the miscommunication is at, and try and find a solution, because it feels bad to feel ashamed, okay? And I don't like feeling bad anymore. I'm trying to give that up. So if we use shame for just that minute or two to make us recognize that we have even bring attention to the rule. Was this a good rule? Was it something that I could do something about? In this case, no, it wasn't. Had no control over the situation. So it made me think. The shame made me think. And that's the way to use that, not to punish yourself, but just allow it. When you feel a sense of shame, ask yourself, what is this triggering? What is that rule that I've broken? Or is it my rule? It's like me, I'm overweight, I am. And I'm probably going to stay that way. Well, hopefully I can lose a little for my health. But in the world we live in, that's not acceptable. Everybody's supposed to look like, females are supposed to look like pubescent boys. Is that a good rule? Oh, no. I don't think so. But still, we fall into these categories of judging ourselves, and we have to look at those basis of those judgments. They're so ingrained in us. We're ashamed of our age, our color. We're imperfect. People are imperfect. We gotta learn to accept that. We have to learn to accept that in ourselves, because a lot of the judgment comes from we're really projecting onto other people what we think about ourselves. Okay, because that's how you get rid of pain a lot. Project it on somebody else. So you want to think about when you're feeling ashamed of your behavior. All you need is that moment, and then you decide you're going to change something. If in fact you did, the rule was okay. I can't help. Well, yeah, okay. I can't help being fat. The odds are, I'm never going to be slim. So, but I don't have to, I can do something about that. I can make that decision to do something about that and move on. Or I can accept the fact that it may not change, and stop judging myself for that. Okay. We have to think about our rules. Can we do something about them? So the shame or any kind of punishment that we subject ourselves or anybody else to should only be the smallest amount in order to get to your attention, so you can figure out how to solve the problem or change the behavior if the behavior is not getting you the outcome that you want. It's a terrible thing, and it's a terrible thing to shame somebody else. And that's guilting somebody else. When we guilt somebody else, because it's a horrible, horrible feeling, and we do a lot of it. The Judeo-Christian culture that most of us live in is based on guilt, shame, and judgment. Uh, and it's got to stop. You know, the world that we're in right now is so being torn apart um, by accusation and guilt and judgment and criticism. And it starts with us. What is it that Gandhi said? Be the be the thing that you want to change. I can't remember that quote, but it starts. It starts with you. It starts with me. That's where it starts at. So think about that. Let shame and let guilt only be momentary, and be the catalyst to find the solution. And some things you're not going to be able to change, and you're going to have to accept them. That's it. And that can be acceptance can be really hard. Life is hard. Life is hard. But we don't have a lot of choices. So we have to move into them and do something about them. All right? Okay. That's not that one. What else will we talk about? Probably some more things I'm going to talk about. I was told I was supposed to do this in 10-minute segments. Some people don't have long attention spans. Okay.